Movement 2, Out of the Deep, is the first of the two psalm settings, and it is one of the darkest of the 150 psalms in some ways. Out of the deep have I called unto thee, O Lord, Lord, hear my voice. It's very fervent, and I immediately sensed a kind of affinity with the blues in the kind of text it is, because at one time or another we've all been there in the situation that the psalmist is talking about. Oh, let thine ears consider well the voice of my complaint. Please hear me. If thou, Lord, wilt be extreme to mark what is done amiss, which really means just forgive me the sins I've done in the past, won't do it again. O Lord, who may abide it. But then, interestingly, it takes a more optimistic turn, saying, for there is mercy with thee, therefore shalt thou be feared. I look for the Lord, my soul doth wait for him, and in his word is my trust. In other words, things haven't yet taken a turn for the better, but there's hope and trust in the Lord, even in a dark hour. And of course, that dark hour is actually spelt out for us. My soul fleeth unto the Lord, before the morning watch, I say, before the morning watch. That is, I think, the time when often people who are in despair feel at their very darkest. So psychologically, I think there's a lot of insight in this text. But it ends on a note of trust, doesn't it? O Israel, trust in the Lord, for with the Lord there is mercy, and with him is plenteous redemption. Well, that was really the text that I wanted to set. And because I had this sense of darkness and the blues, I somehow thought a solo cello is the voice that I hear. And very obvious piece of symbolism, I begin on the very lowest note that the instrument can play, bottom C. And the rhythm of those first notes, it doesn't change pitch, but this is the rhythm. Now that knocking at the door rhythm, bum, 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 is one which Brahms used in his Requiem. So this is really another little homage to a past Requiem. The style of the music was described by the New York Times reviewer as Anglican blues, and perhaps that's not unfair because it has those blue notes that you expect in settings of the blues. I nearly wrote, instead of what I actually wrote was, out of the deep have I called unto thee, O Lord. I nearly wrote, have I called unto thee, O Lord. But I changed my mind, that would have been even bluer. And the cello weaves in and out of the voices, as if it's saying some of the things that the voices perhaps can't express themselves. I suppose this is something I borrowed really from Bach and his cantatas and passions, where a solo instrument counterpoints the singers and in some sense comments on what they're singing and adds to it. For there is mercy with thee, we hear the voice of the oboe, which is going to be important later in the work. And we turn from C minor into C major. I look for the Lord, my soul doth wait for him, and in his word is my trust. But we're not sort of ready yet for the whole thing to be happily resolved, because I actually end by repeating the words with which the movement begins. Out of the deep have I called unto thee, Lord, hear my voice. And the cello sinks right back down to that bottom C at the end, which is where it all began. So we're still, in a sense, in darkness. We haven't yet moved forward to seeing light at the end of the tunnel, or at least we've seen some light, but we've moved away from that again.